3 seconds of any video that you do is the most important to catching your audience's attention. Have I got your attention? Well, hello. And that was quite interesting because the first time I've done an intro which I have not put the music to. Hey guys, if you're joining us this week, thanks for coming back. Tracy here from Directional Tourism. Now I've got a question for you. One of the things that most people struggle with is social media engagement. Now today we're going to talk with someone that has their own experience of getting in and just getting down and knuckling in and getting that conversion, and has grown an account 2,000 followers in such a short amount of time. Now, don't want to give her a big head because she is amazing at what she does. She's also had some viral posts as well. I look forward for you listening to our interview today. I'd love to welcome Georgia from MoreFM. Georgia, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. How you doing?
I'm good. Now, I just wonder, before we go too far into it, like, viral posts are so hard, but can you just share with us what was the viral post that you did that went nuts?
There's been a few probably in the last year. The first one was I was walking down the street and it was like 7 o'clock in the morning and I live quite close to town, but a deer just came down the street, and first thing I did was grab my phone out and start videoing it and just put it up on social media, not thinking of it could go viral, just because I thought it was funny. And I think within half an hour, it had like 80,000 views, and people were sharing it on pages like New Zealand Hunting, that kind of stuff. And I don't even know how it happened. It was crazy.
Wow, that is huge. It's huge. I mean, I think some of us out there would, be lucky if our mum likes our Facebook page.
Yeah, to be fair, it got even News Hub picked it up later on. So yeah, it was massive.
Oh, that is the ultimate goal. Now, Georgia, it's quite funny because you are in the building across the road from me right now. I can wave. Actually, normally when I'm at the window, I can see you, but I don't tell you. But tell us a little about who you are and what you do.
So I work for MoreFM Marlborough here, which is do the day show from 10 till 3. And then a part of that is also a lot of little jobs, whether it's promotions, doing activations within the community, and the Facebook page, which has become kind of like my little side project where I love posting things on social media, and even like starting to grow Instagram as well, and realizing more people are spending more time on Instagram too.
Yeah. It's really interesting, isn't it? The way that people are slowly moving from Facebook to Instagram, but then not everyone is leaving Facebook. It still has a place, but it's now defining what content goes where.
Yeah, and you're always going to have the older demo, I feel, that will always stay on Facebook because, that's what they've been taught. But I feel like more and more people are going across to Instagram because more people just want to see things they know, where Facebook's becoming more of a news site to find out information about that kind of stuff. And it's not really the people you know.
Yeah. Now, today's topic is engagement is king. And as we have seen, and I've seen personally, you working your magic with the MoreFM Facebook page here in Marlborough. So we've got 3 hot tips today. Where do we start?
The first one has to be interacting with your audience. I feel like these days, social media pages are becoming more they've got more personalities rather than just being like a brand. So if you reply to a comment, chances are people are going to come back to you and want to comment on your page more. And just being present within your comment section is so important because people just want to see that you're not just a brand posting this page and forgetting about it.
Yeah, and people don't want to see that it's dead air almost. You've got a business, you put a photo up, but there's no life behind it.
Yeah, and people actually do have decent comments sometimes, and it's actually nice to know who you're talking to and know your brand and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Now, do you have any tips on when it comes to actually responding? Like, how quick should I respond, or do I just do an emoji, or do I just like it? Have you got any tips for that?
I'm a big fan of if the comment's funny, you've got to give them some credit, like a ha reaction, or sometimes a care reaction, depending what the comment's about. But reply pretty quickly because people are people either comment and move on, and then they forget about they've actually commented. So if you reply to them, and it doesn't actually take out too much time in your day, if you post it and then you just refresh it a few times, see who's commented, whatever, and then maybe if you see a few more comments pop up, you go back to it. But yeah, that's pretty much what I focus on.
So I've got a question for you, and this probably is, I'm going to say the majority of small business owners out there. We have this fear, and I'm not going to say we, because I actually do post, but I do sometimes have a fear. We have this fear of posting first up, right? Don't know what to post. What should we do? But then when we finally post something, there's Dicky Bird, nothing. Now, have you ever had that happen to you where you've posted something and nothing happens, as in no reaction?
Absolutely. Like, I've posted things in the past and like just looked at it and been like, cool, that's got 0 likes. Great. And then like it goes through in mind, do I delete it? But if you get past those few 0 like posts, then people are going to see you're being consistent and people are going to see you're trying. So people will want to interact with that more. So I think it's just getting past that first bit of, oh, well, no one's reacting to my post, and keep posting, and then slowly you get people interacting.
Yeah. Now, whilst just on that topic, and I know that I'm throwing this one in the middle, is how often do you guys actually post?
Well, I found out recently during we had a storm in July last year, and we posted 65 times in a month, which is probably well above what you should do. But of course, we're updating stuff with the news. I try to keep it like every few days. Like if you get too annoying, people are like, nah, see ya. But it's really important to be consistent, because if you go like a week and then you don't post for a few weeks, people won't just forget about you. And then of course, if people are interacting with your page, it pops up more on their Facebook with the whole algorithm, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And it's interesting because it's like any form of advertising that we do, is if you're not doing it consistently enough, people just forget that you even exist, right?
Yeah, I think consistency is the key with it, no matter how great or terrible it goes.
Yep. Cool. All right, so we need to be interacting with our audience. So what's next?
The next thing is I think understanding your audience. We had a Facebook page where it was just getting absolutely no interaction, and the recipe that we used, being local, that kind of stuff, it was there, but we just like the interaction wasn't. So I looked into it on the insights that most Facebook pages have. We found out 17% of our audience was in Bangladesh. So if we're posting something local, there's no way there's going to get interaction when that much, like it's quite a large percentage of our audience isn't local. They probably don't even care what we're posting about. So it was really understanding that was our audience and how we could, change that.
Wow, that is so interesting. And I wonder at some stage someone went, hey guys, we need to go buy some likes.
Yeah, because we didn't even know where it came from. Like, what had we posted? Sometimes if you do like a stupid, cat video, people jump onto that. But I actually think it's probably people buying likes, and that's how we got the audience of 17%.
Yeah. Now, anyone that's watching this or listening to this, do not buy likes. They are dead ends. They do not convert. If you're a company that's selling something, do not buy likes. If you're an influencer and you want to make money, they will see right through it, because bought likes are just dead ends.
Yeah, and we found that ourselves. Like, just we're posting real local, real good content, and just it was getting nothing. We're like, what is happening? And like a page with 5,000 people, that's a decent chunk of people that actually just were dead end likes.
Wow. So what did you do? So just talk us through, what did you do once you realized that 17% weren't even in the country?
I think the first thing we did was lower our expectations and understand that our 5,000 likes were not 5,000 likes at all. And just, it comes back to the consistency of still posting and not giving up. But I think it just gave us a better idea of why this was happening. And now we have more locals interacting because we just didn't give up on that. And we just kept posting local, so more people came to us that were local. We still have those 17% of Bangladesh followers, but we're just trying to be local.
Yeah. And as a result of that changing of the strategy, you've obviously, have you gone back and looked at those insights?
Nah, actually, it's probably something we need to do. We haven't gone back and noticed the difference. But it's definitely a difference on our interaction with our posts. Like there's more local, and it's kind of what we're doing from the start.
Yeah. So when we talk about understanding your audience a little bit more, so you've nutted down and you worked out that a portion wasn't in the country. What else would you do when you're trying to understand your audience? Like what's that path, or what does that process look like?
I think it comes from like understanding your brand and your business too. Like for MoreFM, we focus more on a female target. So it's being like, okay, what do we need to our Facebook to be, and does it suit with our like brand and what we want to achieve? So it's going through that, understanding where you are and what you want to get there, and then making a bit of a plan to be like, this is what people we want to target are following, and this is what we need to create.
Yep. Yep. And this is all your job, right? No one else helps you? Just your job?
Yeah, a lot of people do question how I, do a lot of things. But to be honest, I'm one of those people who are just wired to social media. If I walk past something, I'll be like, that's a funny social media post. And even my workmates are like, how do you think of that? But I guess growing up on social media, kind of get into that habit of constantly thinking, that's a great Facebook post.
Yes, so I'm not going to ask your age, so that will just show how old I am. So we'll just leave that. Okay, so we're interacting with our audience. That's really important. We're understanding our audience. What next?
The next thing we'd probably move on to is something I mentioned earlier, which was making a plan. It's really like you can go through, and I do it often, just absolutely winging it week to week and being like, oh yeah, this is cool. We might post it here and there. But that's where the consistency falls through, where if you make a plan and look at things coming up like Valentine's Day, St. Paddy's Day, key moments in the calendar, and you plan ahead of what you can do and create content pieces for those days, because people are going to want to see it. So creating a plan is so crucial.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I know myself, previously I worked on a day-to-day. So I'd wake up in the morning and I'd do a post for my clients and then, go on. And all it takes is for something to go wrong in your day and you're missing that critical time slot to post. So planning and scheduling, it just allows you to kind of look at the content on a like a holistic approach, like a higher level at everything that you're doing.
Yeah, and sometimes, like especially at the moment, there's not much content happening. So if you're planned ahead, you're still going to have that stuff there. And almost when you do plan ahead, it frees up your brain to actually think of the cool stuff.
Yeah, because you're not panicking about what you need to do. Now, one of the things I find when working with businesses is they get to a point where they go, I just don't know what to post. Do you have a magic method of what to post, or is this just internal sense that I'm going to take a photo now and that's going to be something that I post?
One of the key things I do is like follow brands are doing well. There's a few brands I know throughout Marlborough, like Toasty Picton. They nail their social media where they're always posting. So you take little bits and pieces from brands you enjoy that other people are going to enjoy as well. Because I feel like most people do interact with the same content. So you take bits and pieces of what other people are doing, put it on your own brand, and then you have a good social media piece.
And so the photos you use, what are you using to take photos?
I pretty much work off my phone these days. 100%. There's even creating videos. There's places like things like Premiere Rush, which is like free. You can use that. Canva, and I actually use Instagram as well, like the story sometimes, which is terrible to edit photos on, but it's so easy. So I just use that and put it together, and no one would even know what you're using. It's so simple.
I know. And I think we have to do a big shout out to Canva, because, oh my God, they just keep updating and improving their platforms. And now you can edit video. It's nuts what you can do on Canva.
Yes. And I noticed with doing a few recording things, like you can put video recordings on Canva and use it as a video. Like it's insane what you can do on it.
Yeah, and I saw the other day that if you're doing a presentation, you can actually create a little circle where you're talking to the presentation. That's
oh my God, the next level, and it's free. Yeah. Well, you can go pro, but most of the stuff on there is free, which is such an asset.
Yeah, and what's great is that, and what I love about it is that it's a user friendly and a user sharing friendly platform. So if I get a client needing help with something, I can create something and send it to them. As long as it's not using any of the premium assets, I can send it to them, and then they can then continue on adding the finer detail that they like. But I love it, especially when you're doing, say, a Facebook post, and then you want to convert it to a story, and it just
Yes.
resizes it for you.
Yes, and it's user friendly in that way too, because it has, like you said, it has Instagram stories where you don't have to Google like what size is an Instagram story. It has it all there in like A4, and it also has like real good sharing options where you go, share it to Facebook, share it to Instagram. It's just such a handy thing.
Yeah. Now, I want to ask you, so we're talking about making a plan, but to make a plan, sometimes we need to have tools. So if do you schedule posts, or do you kind of only look at it a couple of days ahead?
I don't want to say the worst person at scheduling, but I'm so obsessed with scheduling posts.
Yep.
We coming into Christmas, it's when events were happening and stuff like that, and I knew I was going to forget them. Like I'd wake up and that's the last thing I'm thinking about. So I just put an hour aside and just put all my social media posts together and scheduled it for the days that needed it. And it was the biggest relief to just see these posts pop up and be like, that's that one job I don't have to worry about. So scheduling is so important.
Now tell me, do you use the native scheduling tools in Facebook, or do you have a platform you use?
I have tried to use them, but I find, like personally myself, I find them quite difficult. Where we use all our pages are on Business Suite, so it's actually a really handy thing where you can schedule Facebook and Instagram at the same time. So it's like it's so easy.
Yeah, we work on a paid platform, but we also do a lot of scheduling in Business Suite as well, because what we're finding is what we're paying for is actually the ability to pull out really detailed reporting, where you can't get that detailed reporting without have to manually doing a lot of manipulation of data. So we use that, and especially when we like to make sure that our clients know what we're doing, so they can see how many posts we've done, they can see the engagement. And we have some tools around brand awareness, so how their brand fits, or how their message about their brand is getting recognized through social. So we have little metrics that we use. But I'm a big lover of Business Suite. And the other day I actually was on someone's account working with them, and Facebook hadn't given them Business Suite yet.
Oh, is that like 2019?
It's so 2019. And it's interesting because we have to remember that Business Suite is just an extension of Facebook, and it gives you all those really cool features and those business features that's about your account. But they only roll them out, when they're ready, not when you ask for it, when you're ready.
Does that depend on likes too? Like if someone doesn't have so much likes, it doesn't give it to them?
Look, I don't actually know the answer, but I have a funny feeling it's got a little bit to do with likes and activity on your pages. So if your pages are a little bit dormant, and just like you said before, it's about consistency of posting. If they haven't actually been posting regularly, then I think Facebook treats them as the last ones to roll through.
Yeah, and I think as well, like some people, if they're not sure how to use Business Suite or how to get it, like 90% of what I've learned has been through Google. Like, what an asset.
Yeah, Google and Facebook definitely. I've heard lately that people love watching TikTok to get little tips as well.
It's like the YouTube of our era, right?
It is. It totally is. Now, for someone that might be starting out and they're watching this and they're like, okay, well, they're really good tips, but what advice would you give someone to motivate them to get back onto using Facebook or Instagram, actually, to be fair?
I think the best part is enjoying it. And like if you're not enjoying it, then you're not wanting to be posting, you're not wanting to be on social media. So if you're doing content that you really enjoy, like just seeing stuff and posting it, and then social media is great because if it goes well, you get that instant, like, you're doing well. So I think enjoying it and just not taking it too seriously is key, because that's definitely a way I've noticed Facebook brands are moving. Like, if you take things too seriously, people don't want to react with it. Where these days, people are looking for that escape to have a laugh. So if you have a laugh with your audience, they're going to enjoy it a bit more.
Yeah, totally. And I think also coming back to that is authenticity. So being authentic with what you're posting, being real, being raw, is really important.
Yeah, and it's probably, I reckon it's been a huge thing probably in the last 6 months. Brands are becoming more authentic and just showing the realness. And that's what people want. People just want to see what's behind it, because people don't want, some pretend thing that they don't know what's happening, because they won't interact with it.
Yeah. I was listening to a podcast out of the States recently around social media, and one thing as businesses that we tend to do is we try to sit behind the business. We put the business brand forward, but no one knows who is behind the brand. And people want to feel that that familiarization about who you are and what you do before they come and experience your product, and putting their face out there. Now, I know I do that, and Georgia, I've seen that you are quite forward-footed with putting your face in your branding for MoreFM. But it's scary sometimes, isn't it?
It is scary, because if you've never really used social media, you kind of think, what is it? And it's a huge world. You don't really know what's happening. But it comes back to enjoying it. Like, the reason why I started posting like more personal stuff is because I thought it was funny. My friends and family thought it was funny. So I was like, oh, someone else will think it's funny. And if you're doing it to make someone else laugh, then you're going to get the interaction, and you're going to just enjoy posting.
Yeah, so if anyone does want to laugh, please go look for the Mills Bay mussel video that Georgia does eating her first mussel from Mills Bay.
It was disgusting, but it got the reaction.
It sure did. Now, I do remember it because it was very close to my reaction. But I have to admit, I did enjoy the Mills Bay mussel. So a little shout out to those guys, because they do a fantastic job down in Havelock.
Yeah, and to be fair, it wasn't as bad as I was thinking. I feel like I hyped myself up a little bit too much for that.
Yep. Now, I'm going to throw a really curly one out to you. So you're a lot younger than me, and a lot younger than probably most small businesses. So, when we think about the small business owners, they're probably in, 35, 40s. Some have got, they've dabbled in a bit of Facebook and Instagram, and some have got nothing at all. They feel like it's a millennial game. What advice would you give to someone that is terrified of posting on Facebook but has a business? I mean, this is a curly one.
It is a curly one. It's a hard thing, because like older people, are happy in their ways, and they don't want to be using social media because they think it's a huge big world. But if they come back to like knowing their business and just starting small, even if it's just posting a photo, it just comes down to doing the simple stuff, I feel, because you don't have to go out there and download TikTok, because even I don't really understand that app really. It's just the simple stuff.
Yeah, it is interesting. One of the pieces of advice that I give businesses is just pick a number of how many posts you'll do a week. It's not 0, so don't make it 0. It's 1 or 2. So HubSpot, which is a company that does they do scheduling as well as other CRMs, that they came out with a report last year that they recommended that you do a minimum of 3 posts a week. But I've seen some fantastic results when people have posted twice a week, and those results, and people tend to forget when it comes to social, is social media can drive people to your website.
Yes.
You can draw people there, and that's another form of engagement. So if you're actually encouraging people to look at your website, there's what goes on from a messaging, from engagement, and also likes and shares. But we're also looking at how many people do we move across to our website to interact in our website as well.
Yeah. And social media, like, it's not going away anytime soon. It's only getting bigger and bigger. And I think while people are, hunkered down at home on their phones, that is the one thing they're seeing is social media. That's why it's so important for people just to do anything at all on social media. And chances are, one thing I was always told when I was first starting out is never as good or as bad as you think it is. You may do a post and you think it's terrible, but it could go really well without you, expecting it.
Yeah, I think we have to remind ourselves that you have to think about some of the stuff that you have watched and have been stuck watching, and then you've gone, I'm never going to get that time back in my life. But you've just helped the algorithm. Facebook's gone, oh great, they've just sat there for 30 seconds on a 1-minute video. They've watched 50% of it. We're now going to serve them more of that up.
And like you said a really good point about people watch the stupidest things on social media and think it's entertaining. So any post a business is going to do, it's like, it surely can't be worse than, someone cutting sand. I watch those videos quite a bit, like the cutting sand ones. I don't know why, but
they're therapeutic. They're really therapeutic.
But like, it can be so simple, and it's never going to be as bad as you think it is, I think.
Correct. And today's been all about engagement, in which you've really outlined some really good points. We forget about stories. Now people are now starting to engage with our stories as well, so not just our posts, but they're getting, they're making comments on your stories, they're liking, they're putting emojis in there. And, and this is another layer. And I know really for some people, they're like, I just want to do one post and I want to walk away. But stories is another great place, isn't it?
Stories is a fantastic place because you can actually see who is seeing your post and how many people are seeing your post straight away. And one thing I do find, if I do want to do a post, I do the post, real simple thing, share it to your story, because that is like, people are still going to see it and, scrolling down Facebook, Instagram, but you can more people, I feel like more people are watching stories these days because it's that instant kind of, people are seeing it quickly, where social media, you don't really see it as often.
Yeah, and it sits at the top, so it's easy to click. I think they've looked at heat maps to see where people are clicking, and most often they are tapping on the top. Yeah, and I think also now the changes to iOS, so Apple software, and not being able to track what people do, the Facebook algorithm is now working overtime to make sure that it can try and serve you as much content. And give you the right content, whilst it doesn't always, sometimes I look at some of the content that I get served and I'm like, really, what did I do in a past life? I'm not sure. Does that
oh, the classic, what have I talked about in the last 24 hours and why am I seeing this?
I know. Is that a conspiracy? Do we all think that our mobile phones can hear us? I think so.
100%.
Yeah, they definitely hear us, because some of the stuff that appears, you're like, what? Yeah. So coming back to engagement, now we're almost at the end of our time. You've got any hot tips that you want to share, like gold nuggets? I mean, you've already given us 3, really good gold nuggets there, but any last departing words that you would like to share with around engagement?
The key to it is having fun. Don't be serious, and just enjoy the process, because if you're enjoying the process, you're going to keep at it. And social media is not as big and as scary as we think.
Exactly. And it's a must do, right?
Yes. Social media is only getting bigger and bigger, and it's growing. And you just look at how many businesses are doing well because they focus everything on social media.
Yeah. No, wise words, Georgia, really wise words. So, hey, look, thank you so much for joining us today. I feel like we might be able to get another one in somewhere down the track and with another topic, because some of the stuff that you do is quite amazing. And, whilst it's not all social, you do a lot of stuff around presenting. And I think sometimes people could do with a little bit of tips on how they can present. But we'll see how that goes. But definitely, thank you for sharing those words of wisdom. So just recapping, interact with your audience, guys. Understand who your audience is. Don't just post stuff for the sake of posting it. You want to know who they are. Is it serving a purpose for them? Are they going to get value out of it? Are they actually going to want to come and experience your product, your business? I mean, in the fact for Georgia, do they even want to listen to Georgia? I think they do, actually, Georgia. I do think they want to listen to you. And also making a plan. And a plan is really, really important. And for any business owner, the most daunting thing that we have to do is actually plan ahead, predict the future. And also when it comes to our marketing, we actually kind of have to have a little bit of an idea of what we want to talk about. So social media planning does put us outside of our comfort zone, but it's a great place to be. So Georgia, thank you so much for your time today. We if anyone wants to find Georgia, where can people find you?
You can either go at MoreFM Marlborough on Facebook and Instagram, or at Georgia Watt on Instagram.
Okay, Georgia, thank you so much. And to everyone watching, if you do like what we do, please like, share, comment. If you do want to get in touch with Georgia, find her at her Instagram page or on MoreFM Marlborough. Otherwise, leave a comment and we'll make sure that Georgia answers it. But till next week, guys, please stay safe, and we will see you next Thursday. Back to our normal time. We had to unfortunately change because Georgia had a very important date at 1:30, so we didn't want to miss her. So thanks for making the time, Georgia, and we'll see everyone next week. Okay, bye.
Yeah.